Hi everyone, welcome as always from the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, Philadelphia, banks of the Schuylkill River, one of our two beautiful rivers in the city. Today I'd like to record a video on this channel, the Dharmayana, where we learn how to bring together the Buddhist tradition and sacred plants in order to transform our consciousness, build powerful, amazing spiritual communities, and hopefully save our species in the process. Today on our channel, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the nitty-gritty of how such a community would actually look. So let's begin. I think that I'd like to begin fresh by describing first a little bit how a traditional Buddhist community looks, and then adding to that this layer of the use of sacred plants in the creation of a Dharmayana Buddhist community. So a traditional Buddhist community could meet in a place like this, outside, certainly, and often meets at a temple or a meditation center. Traditionally, when people arrive, they take off their shoes, kind of following some of the beautiful Asian traditions around that. And then everyone enters the Dharma hall. And generally, things begin with a period of meditation. New students will sometimes go to a separate room where they'll be given meditation instruction, whereas experienced students or students who've already received this meditation instruction will simply practice meditation together. And the length of time varies. It might be 30 minutes of practice together. In some traditions it's more. Sometimes, in addition to the sitting meditation practice, there is walking meditation, where people will take breaks in their sitting meditation and mindfully walk, paying attention to their footsteps, followed by another period of sitting meditation. Then when that is complete, the students who are learning the practice re-enter the room with the more experienced students, and usually there is a Dharma talk delivered. A Dharma talk, kind of if we think about it in the traditions of, let's say, a synagogue or a church, is a kind of homily. There's somebody that gives teachings on how to work with the mind, how to transform suffering, to attain liberation from suffering and a life of freedom and joy. And these teachings are given based on the teachings of the Buddha and the Buddha's disciples as they've been passed down to us generation to generation onto the present day, onto our generation for about 2,500 years. Following the Dharma talk, there will often be a time of question and answers where people have the opportunity to ask anything they want to. We have some nice people paddling behind us. So people will ask such questions. And following this, usually there will be a period where people are able to just hang out in community, drink tea together, eat cookies, get to know one another, that kind of thing. There will also usually be retreats that people attend from time to time. This is a period of more intense study, where people might go into nature, take a weekend or a week or sometimes a month or 3 months to practice deep meditation together, receive Dharma instruction in a very concentrated way. And this is all, of course, done to sort of walk together in a spiritual way, transforming one's consciousness and living a happier life step by step, walking this road that the Buddha outlined. Now, how would we add sacred plants to this practice? Well, I think that first the person who is arriving to the Sangha or the spiritual academy would need to pursue a precise curriculum, kind of flight instructions in how to work skillfully with these plants, how to be able to apply meditation practices when one is on the visionary flight of the sacred plants. When the individual has completed that curriculum, and when perhaps the community deems that they're ready, there would also be a retreat with meditation and beautiful ceremony. And during this retreat, now in a community of spiritual friends, people that by then one would know well and trust and be friends with, one would take this visionary flight with perhaps psilocybin or ayahuasca. It could be crafted in different ways. There are many of these really sublime plant teachers. And one would take this flight together with other people of the community. Some of the members of the community would be facilitating and assisting and making sure everything is very safe and comfortable. And when that journey is complete, there would be a period of integration that would begin right on this retreat in nature. It's very important for the retreat to be in nature. It makes the visionary experience more powerful. It develops our nature relatedness and our connection and sense of belonging in the natural world, which is extremely important both spiritually and for our well-being. Then one would return from this kind of mountaintop of the retreat to the valley of one's everyday life. And there the integration process would continue. In a sense, what would occur there is the most important part of this visionary journey. It's really all about how you bring it back into your everyday life to be a better neighbor and friend and child and parent and grandchild and maybe grandparent. And within the Sangha, we could form small groups of perhaps 8 people, divide into small groups, that would meet together over dinner at one another's homes. People could take walks together or meet at the spiritual academy or Sangha or temple or meditation center itself to discuss on a regular basis, perhaps weekly, perhaps bi-weekly, what they saw during their vision, how they are interpreting it as the days unfold, how their habitual patterns are being transformed, how they're growing in strength, in their interpersonal relationships, in their work, for their families, for their community, for the world. And in this way, people would integrate their visionary experiences together. And within the Sangha, wisdom about how to do this would grow collectively. We would gain wisdom and become more and more skilled at putting together beautiful spiritual retreats and at beautifully helping one another integrate our visions into our everyday life. And in this way, we would be walking a very beautiful spiritual road, a powerful spiritual road together. And our lives would flourish. The Sangha we could create together would be a space of profound belonging, profound wisdom, learning, knowledge, strength. We would help one another experience great joy. We would help one another through the times of grieving that are an inevitable part of life. And I believe that we would discover also through meditation, through these visionary journeys, through sitting together around fires, through talking, through singing together, through contemplation, how to preserve this beautiful world of ours and how to pass it down to the 7 generations to come, how to pass down this beautiful inheritance we have received to the people that will come after us. And of course, as I always say, if we can build one such community, I hope to create one in West Philadelphia, where I live. It could become an acorn, or rather, it could become an oak tree from which an acorn could be planted very carefully and thoughtfully and with discernment and wisdom in another neighborhood, perhaps of Philadelphia, perhaps of another city. And who knows what can come from such a process. I believe that the road will emerge as we walk it, as long as it is rooted in these very ancient and very powerful traditions of the Dharma, as taught by the Buddha and the Buddha's disciples, and of the sacred plants as passed down and preserved in a number of lineages, especially in Central and South America in our time, and North America as well, indigenous communities around the world. So that's a quick glimpse of how such a community might look. With any questions or thoughts or comments or critiques, please comment, and I will try to answer questions as they arise to the best of my ability. As I always say, this is something for us to co-create together. No human being can create this on their own. So I look forward to our collaboration, and I wish you, wherever you are, a very beautiful rest of your day.